All right, lots to review, guys. Sorry, I'm doing this so late. It's been a crazy day. So many stocks are in play. Congrats to so many students having a record day, record week. It's just insane. I did well in the beginning of the day, and then I screwed up late day, so I'm not perfect. Before I get to my trades and the plays, do have to congratulate several top trading challenge students who will also be speaking at my virtual summit August 23rd and 24th. I'll post a link to this. You guys should all tune in. Going to be some great topics, Q&A, live trading. We've got Matt Monaco, Bryce, Tim Bowen, Ben, Trey, Ellis, Andrew, Mariana, Evan, and Krish Schunk, the two new millionaires. Andrew's a recent new millionaire. Mariana, my first female millionaire. So lots of good speakers, and I will post a link to this. But shout out to Evan. He actually was long over the weekend on APDN. I'll go over that in a second. That was awesome. I know Jack was trying to buy APDN on Friday, but I think he sold and he didn't take it over the weekend. Turned out to be a better over the weekend play by far. Bryce doubled his month again. VRAX 195 to 570. Beautiful patience. All the way from here over the weekend. Again, my over the weekend strategy, it's not just one stock, it is so many stocks, especially in this crazy market. So learn it, love it, use it. Jack Kellogg, 110 or what, $114,000 on the day on GOVX. And he was out fishing, which is pretty cool to make six figures while you're out fishing. Some people make fun of like the quote laptop lifestyle, that I live, but really you can do it from your smartphone. You can do it from anywhere if you know the patterns like Jack does. I wouldn't recommend trading while fishing or trading while, doing anything like this. If you haven't studied, that's why I always say study hard. David Anlin, laptop legend. You might remember him. He's the only person to actually do all the burpees. I assigned him. He did 89,300 burpees when he had an undisciplined loss. He just recently crossed 4 million, 32,000 on the day. So many more students. Like, I'm sorry if I'm leaving your name out. So many people are like, hey, include me. I can't keep up. PowerPoint, nice $200. Don't worry if you sell too soon. Boz, nice $4 a share, nearly $4 a share on GOVX. Malik, nice $1.20 on ALZN. NM Bex, Toasties, Power 221, Servans, Jules Anthony, Ian Math, Frank, Trader 32032, Ellis, Art of War 49112 student, Josh Iwashi, Karina, Lord Ribo, Josh, Nurse K2, Brewster Trades, Kelby, Kamo, Kiyoki, Namir, Matt Z, Roger, Lowrider. So many people. I'll post a link to this so you can see. But we're basically just trading all of the biggest runners, trying to take a single along the way. That's the beauty of having so many plays with so much range. All you have to do is basically buy 500 shares, 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares, start small, and then try to ride it because every single one of these plays has awesome range. That is why I love this market. And understand, many of these stocks don't deserve to have this range. They're aided by the fact that there's so many over-aggressive short sellers. So when I go over the stocks in a second, you'll see why some of these stocks never deserve to go that high, but they're going that high because of an abundance of short sellers. And short sellers have been getting burned left and right. You won't know it because they're not transparent. They're the shady ones now. Promoters are gone. Short sellers are under investigation. Just to give you another example, HOLO, this is a former supernova. Big props to my student, Jonas, old school student, and he remembers HOLO can squeeze. So he posted this, literally for anybody. This is the beautiful thing about the challenge chat room. He called it at 38 cents. After hours went all the way to 70 cents. Okay. So, this is from, it closed at around 40 cents, went up to 70. This is all in an hour, guys. Okay. You don't need to sit in front of your computer all day. You don't need 20 monitors. You just need to understand that we have runners and there's so many plays running. HOLO is just the latest. SOND had a nice deal with Marriott. Nice uptrend all day from the 2s. Hit a high of the 6s. I got a little too confident on this one late day, as I'll go over. ALZN, this is the one that never deserved to go to 14. We've seen this with several biotechs where these small biotechs that need cash, they're terrible fundamentals. They're going to do offerings. It's not a question of if the stock is going to tank when they do the offering, it's how much. But the beautiful thing is, because, again, I must point this out, an abundance of short sellers, and they all use dilution tracker, and they all short the same stocks at the same time in their toxic groupthink Discord chat rooms. They created this squeeze from the 2s to the 14s, and I was buying this several times. I probably should have been more aggressive in the morning, but this is a pattern that you have to come to know and love in this market, where a company has good news, it goes up, but really aside from the initial news spike, I mean, it was kind of choppy in here in the 6s and the 7s. Remember, I was selling this. If you saw my newsletter and you saw my trades, I was selling this. I didn't think you could breach 7. That's because based on the news, it probably deserved to go from 2 to 6. That's it. But right here, when it really started going supernova in the middle of the day, it is because, guess what? I'm trying to zoom in. This is a short squeeze when it takes out a new high here in the 7s and the 8s. I gave a good warning not to chase it and not be long here in the 14s. That turned out to be the day high. I guess it did get up to 15, but you don't need to risk it. This is a short squeeze, ladies and gentlemen, from 9:45 a.m. to 10:06 a.m. This is only like 25 minutes, and the stock doubles. Okay? This is short sellers shorting in here, shorting in here, shorting in here, and then getting annihilated. And, as many students of mine who were succeeding, there's even more students who are not mine who are getting annihilated. And I feel for them. Many of them have sent me messages. I'm not trying to rub salt in the wound. I'm not going to, embarrass you with your names and your losses. But I know a lot of short sellers who were shorting this. This is why I warn against shorting. This is why, my job is never done teaching. A lot of short sellers in other chat rooms with untrained, irresponsible, sketchy, shady AF short sellers who don't share all their trades publicly, getting crushed in here. And as much as I rip on the short sellers, we got to thank them, because ALZN does not spike this much without the shorts all loading up in here in the 4s and the 5s and the 6s, because they're so confident that this is such a bad company and they're going to do a toxic filing. By all means, it is a bad company. They will do a toxic financing. It doesn't matter. You don't know how high it's going to go in the meantime. You can't control the risk. Never take a trade where you can't control the risk. So for me, I had some stupid losses, $3,000 that could have been avoided on SOND, which I'll go over in a little bit. But to start the day, I was really on fire with, my over the weekend long on RR, dead on, nice 25% runner. I sold too early. ALZN, I sold too early. SOND, I sold too early. VRAX, I sold too early. SOND, I sold too early. You start to see a pattern here, and me selling too early, normally I do it. I'm okay with it. I got a little too over aggressive with SOND here, thinking that it was just going to run and run into the close and after hours. HOLO did what I thought SOND would do. This one closed right near its highs, around 40 cents a share. It's a former supernova, so short sellers remember how high it can go and makes them scared. Longs remember how high it used to go, so that makes them more aggressive. And we got a great after-hour squeeze, as opposed to SOND, which all it did was tank, $1.50 a share off the highs here, set just 20 minutes before the close. So I chose the wrong time and the wrong stock to get aggressive on, but I was still up nearly $3,000 on the day. And now year to date, $230,000. Roughly. And understand, I am not best case scenario. I mean, look at these guys. Like Evan just made 20 today. Bryce, I don't know how much he made, but he doubled his month. Jack, made 6 figures while fishing, and Jack just crossed over 13 million. So when you look at my trades, yeah, I'm pretty good, especially like in the morning. But I need to control myself in the afternoon. That's been my undoing the past few days. And it's really because like on all of these, I sold way, way, way too soon. And you think about it. Like I was buying this in the sixes and selling in the sevens. And this is the one that went to 15. This trade here on SOND, nice little dip buy in the threes, out in the fours, and it goes all the way to nearly seven. When I was trading it in the morning, it got up to like 480. I was trading this around 10:13 a.m. So it was right in here. So it actually broke out midday. And this is another thing. Some people say, like, how do you know it's the short squeeze? Because again, the news is already out. The stock is up nicely here, from basically the twos to the fours. But it really spikes more and faster midday here from basically 440 up to 610, all in like 15, 20 minutes. There were no, pieces of news that just came out, no broker recommendation. These are shorts getting squeezed. Short sellers protect themselves by stopping out when a stock hits new highs. So right here, 475. Let me zoom in. Come on. Let me zoom in, guy. There we go. Right here, it takes out the day high. And you can see here in 2 minutes, it goes from 460 to 550 on these two volume bars. These are short sellers covering. Some people say, how do you know, the short selling data, it's not accurate, it's a month behind. I don't use short selling data. I use the arrogant AF short sellers who all talk openly about their shorts because they want others to follow them. This is why you guys have to understand how bad and dangerous short sellers are. Promoters used to always pump up stocks because they would try to get people to follow in, to pile into their pumps, and the promoters would be dumping into them, pump and dump, right? Short sellers are trying to get other people to short these stocks that are up a lot because they're trying to push the stocks down so the stock's momentum gets crushed and then the short sellers clean up. So short sellers and promoters, they'll say that they're opposites. Promoters are, scumbags like Wolf of Wall Street type characters. Short sellers say, no, we just look at the fundamentals. But they employ the same tactics. And, you want to have ethics questions, do that on your own time. For me, I care about whether or not these promoters are pumping up a stock because they're, misleading people into trying to get people to pump a piece of crap company. And I look at short sellers the same because when they try to get other people to short sell, because they all talk in their chat rooms and it's a lot of groupthink, they do sometimes push the price down. But when the stock hits new intraday highs, they all stop out together. Okay? So a lot of people ask me, why is this stock spiking, from 450 up to 550, $1 a share in 2 minutes? When all these other minutes, it can barely go up 10, 15 cents a share because this is short sellers covering. And then even those short sellers who don't cover and they're trying to average up and they see it downtrending here, then you have another 4 minutes here or 5 minutes. Okay, I use 1 minute charts to show you from 520 up to 620. This is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Okay, so this is a 2 minute short squeeze and this is a 5 minute short squeeze. Obviously, there's buyers too who are loving it, people like me who recognize these stocks get squeezed. But that's why these stocks spike up so quick. Let's zoom in more on ALZN. This one actually got the volatility halts. But the reason why this candle is so big, not because news came out here where the stock was at 780 and then the same minutes and in the nines, these are short sellers stopping out. Okay, so again, be grateful for short sellers. Say thank you, short sellers, in the comments below. A, I want to see if you learn it. B, I want to see if you can follow instructions. And C, it's good to piss off short sellers. They're so thin-skinned and insecure. And frankly, it's better when they make emotional trades. We want them shorting everything. And this is the cool thing. They're not wrong fundamentally about ALZN. Okay, this stock did tank eventually, but it never deserved to go up this high. And it's only because of short sellers. Same thing with HOLO. for some of you, I'm sure some of you don't even know how much HOLO spiked in the past. Okay, it does these giant short squeezes once, twice, and this was the big one. It never was a $200 stock. They've done reverse splits. They're a terrible company. But this is what happens in this market. So I want you to capitalize. If you look at how I've made now nearly $250,000 this year, and I'm not the best trader, and I'm certainly not doing great with all these plays. I'm selling too soon, and then I'm over trading, so I'm like zigging when I should zag and zagging when I should zig, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm still up a few thousand on the day, so I'm happy. But sometimes when there's too many plays, it's just madness. I'm trying to keep up. People are messaging me. People are like, oh, you're back in the US. I want to meet up. I don't have time to meet up, guys. Okay? I was sick last week just trying to keep up with the market. I mean, frankly, if I really wanted to capitalize trading, I should be up at 4 a.m. Eastern every day because we're seeing 4, 5 a.m. spikers. You want to know how Jack banked on GOVX? I haven't even shown you that chart. He was fishing all day. Guess what it did? Early in the morning. This is 4 in the morning. The thing gaps up 8 and it goes to 12. This is 4 a.m. to 4:20 a.m. Eastern. Okay? So understand there is so much opportunity at all hours of the day. Pre-market 4 a.m. if you want to get up, or maybe if you're in Europe, it helps. 10 a.m. was nice in Italy, although it ruined my Italian vacation this summer. 8 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, SOND, spiked here at 12 p.m. ALZN spiked up big. Obviously, you had the news here pre-market, but the biggest spike was right around the open at 9:30. RR was my over the weekend trade. GOVX was at 4 a.m. NCNA is now spiking up into the close. I saw some other play spiking up into the close, all HOLO. But long story short, you're looking for big percent gainers. It doesn't matter how bad their fundamentals are. In fact, it's actually better when there's bad fundamentals. I think part of the reason why SOND failed is because it's a real company. They did a big deal with Marriott. So I actually prefer crappy biotechs that are going to do toxic financings because it lures in more short sellers, and that's where the best squeezes are. So, VRAX, everyone's like, oh, why do you think this thing is going up? Like, is it really just monkeypox? Yes, but it's also a short squeeze, okay? You had the nice uptrend pre-market, and this is what I'm talking about, 4 a.m. is, you don't have to get up for VRAX, it wasn't doing anything. But this one starts spiking around 6 a.m., okay? 6 a.m. is trading at 250. By 8 a.m. is trading at 620. So nearly tripled in an hour and a half early. But the best spike was right here at around 10:30 a.m. Why? Because it broke the day high. Shorts got squeezed. All in a few minutes. This is 10:20 a.m. This is 10:40 a.m. 20 minutes from 496 to 9. Nearly double your money in 20 minutes. Okay? So this is the kind of action that I want you to see. When I say that there's so many plays, when I say that, you need to be capitalizing, there are so many plays. I mean, SOND, ALZN, APDN, RR, GOVX, VRAX, HOLO, NCNA, and even the former runner NNE is now coming back. I probably should be long this overnight. There's just so many plays. So I'm sorry to all the people wanting to meet up with me. I'm just trying to keep up. This is a hot market and I want more millionaire students. So I'm really getting ready for this, 2-day virtual summit. I'm sorry that, we're not going to do like this whole in-person thing right now. I'm just trying to keep up with all the digital trades. And frankly, it's better because speed matters. So wake up earlier, use stocks to trade breaking news, look for these short squeeze plays. Don't worry if you sell too soon. Don't worry if you sell too late. You're just trying to get in tune with the market. You're trying to capitalize on all these plays or capitalize on one play. I'm proud of all the millionaire students, but I'm really proud of these upcoming students where they're taking singles. Like Kelby made $1 a share on SOND. Namir made $1.50 on ALZN. And like 50 cents on SOND, right? Like, it's not just about going for home runs. It's taking singles. And when you're a new student, It really helps you understand where the opportunities are. And then you can do the same trade later on. You can be more aggressive, you can take bigger size. And that's how, my millionaire students are making, 20 grand, 100 grand, 50, 30 grand in a day. Sizing up later, but starting small. So leave a comment below. Let me know if you're capitalizing, and let me know if you're going to tune into this Zoom virtual summit August 23rd and 24th. I'm pumped. I got to get some sleep while I can.